Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Tiana here, and I am from the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance, or Metroid 4 to be more specifically, if you pay attention to the intro cutscene. So, yeah, last time we've essentially did manage to start the game, and we realized about the fact that we got affected by the forms of the X-Parasites, so as a result, we start the game off as in the forms that we got ourselves our fusion suit with us, and on top of that, we did somehow manage to obtain certain abilities, like the ability to able to use missiles, and on top of that, we did explore for Sector 1, and on top of that, we've now finally learned the Morph Ball ability, and on top of that, we also picked up the forms of some more missile expansions, and exponentially some more health, from the likes of the energy tanks and all that stuff. So today, for this video, is about the fact that we're about to continue things on throughout the game, and exponentially, I think we're also able to move on to the next sector, which appears to be Sector 2. So I think it's going to be onto the right, so as a result, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the forms of where you're supposed to go next. So, because again, it's all about the leniency, so as a result, about the fact that it always tells you where you're supposed to go. So either way, let's hop onto the elevator, and I think something tells me about the fact that there's going to be another point of dialogue around here, which either way though, again, I was originally trying to read this kind of stuff, but ultimately though, my computer keeps lagging all of a sudden, so as a result, it's hard to able to sync up. So either way though, because chances are though, about the fact that we know exactly what's going on. So either way though, yeah, not much else to say about this for this point honestly, apart from the fact that it's been about 2 days ago since we've actually last played this for sure, because obviously about the fact that both Mighty and Ray have both managed able to continue things on during the forms of Donkey Kong Country Returns Let's Play so far. Now I think relatively speaking though, they basically already done World 2, so I believe they're now moving on to the third world, which appears to be by the forms of ruins. So, but of course exponentially though, they need able to try to fix something out first, before they're able to actually get started with the forms of the next part, and during at some point until tomorrow, because obviously they've encountered the forms of some graphical glitches during our capture card recording, so hopefully they'll try to fix that at some point. So either way though, that might be saying something. So yeah, it looks like here we are now onto the Sector 2, so I wonder what the entire environment is going to be like. So either way though, I should also mention is about the fact that while today's day is of course the 4th of May today, in this case in 2023 today, do you know what that means folks? Yes, happy Star Wars Day everybody, may the Force be with you. In this case, may the 4th be with you. So yeah, it makes it pretty much sense, especially concerning about the fact that not only today is the Star Wars Day, but also we're about to be playing a sci-fi game, specifically Metroid Fusion, as you can tell. So something tells me about the fact that we must able to actually learn the next ability by the forms of a power bomb. So I think exponentially though, I think I should probably explain more details about that if we continue proceeding for this game. So either way though, and yeah, that's what I can really gather at this point. So either way though, because again, not much else to say. So either way though, because hopefully we'll try to able to find ourselves the forms of the data room here and there, and of course we're able to save our game. And of course, we can never forget to discuss upon the forms of the recovery room. And basically what that does is that if you're almost running out of your health, or especially noticeable with your missiles count, basically there's a great way you can able to recover your health and your missile counts at the same time. So if you get into the recovery room, you can able to recover every single health and as well as your missile counts you encountered with. So, or in this case a recharge station as far as what I meant to say for this point. So again, it's been 2 days ago since I actually have last played this, because obviously I was been busy lately. And on top of that, I'm about to get myself organized until tonight, because as far as what Mighty and Ray have already mentioned about this ever since in yesterday's Donkey Kong Country Returns Let's Play, I'm about to be ready to able to go ahead and experience Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 at some point tonight. So even then though, I'm really looking forward to that film actually, especially concerning after about, let's just say, 6 years after the release of Volume 2, that originally came out in 2017 mind you. that, yeah, I was really looking forward to able to seeing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 for reals. Although, keep it in mind though, no spoilers please, because obviously we still haven't get a chance to see it yet. So either way, as you can see, we come across into one of those security door hatches. So as you can tell, we've activated the level 1 blue door hatches. So, unlike the forms of how it does in the previous Metroid games, that basically though, if you come across into a different colored door, like for example, in Super Metroid, that you come across into a pink door, which can be only activated with the regular missiles, and then if you come across into a green door, which only allows you to able to utilize the super missiles in order to able to activate them, and then if you come across into a yellow door, you need to acquire a power bomb, and that way you can able to open up one of those doors. In here though, in order to able to actually access to any other rooms throughout the majority of the game, you need to activate all these little door hatches, especially concerning about the fact that after all, there are 4 door hatches in total, so relatively speaking though, that we've already activated one of them. So as a result, there are a couple of times though that, again, we're might as well able to head back to the previous sectors, because something tells me one of those items will be, well, kind of hidden during the forms of certain rooms throughout the majority of the adventure. So either way, I think something tells me with Sector 2 is going to be more likely like a jungle-like nature vibe to it, especially concerning we come across into vines or anything else to be more specific. So either way though, because again, it's been about 2 days ago since we actually last played this game for sure. But relatively speaking, though, everything else will be pretty much accounted for the sake of time, so... But, as a result of that kind of stuff, though, I was really hoping that they were able to actually add it in some of the switched sales during the forms of certain copies or something like that. But either way, now we can able to actually access to the morph ball bombs. So that way, you can able to actually place any of the bombs at any point. So either way, though, that will be pretty handy, all things considered, especially if you ever played the previous Metroid games, then you know exactly what the power bomb, or the, potentially speaking, with the actual morph ball bombs, that you can able to actually place them at any point if you really want to do like multiple bounces and stuff, if you really want to do some sequence breaking or anything else to be more specific. So, relatively speaking though, everything else will be pretty much accounted for the sake of those familiar weapons that you accounted for. So... And also, I don't know if you noticed about the fact that, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm pretty sure about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, again, I was really expecting that since that we are in May right now, we could expect that we were able to actually stumble across into ourselves the, you know what I mean, the updated, Switch sales, including the actual systems, sales, for that kind of stuff, especially concerning about the fact that, well, again, we are in May right now, so we could expect that we were able to see the actual sales update, based off of the likes of it by the end of March, so hopefully we're able to find out more details about that during the later days to come, because unfortunately though, I don't think I can probably mention about this right now, because obviously, that's, you know what I mean, we're still on the earliest May, so as a result, like, you know, the 4th of May. Oh, and speaking of the Star Wars thing related, basically though, is about the fact that we actually stumbled across into the point where, I don't know about you, because it's been about quite a few days ago, but recently, I finally managed able to give the Mandalorian a chance. Especially despite the fact that I have to restart the entire process all over again, like I still managed able to actually have to restart from Season 1 all the way up to recently Series 3, or Season 3 to be more specific, and I enjoy it for quite a bit, especially concerning about the fact that, again, better late than never I suppose when it comes to able to catch up on, you know, Star Wars Mandalorian, especially concerning about the fact I heard there's a lot of, like, popularity these days when it comes to likely for the Mandalorian itself, when it comes to the series as a result. Especially, gee, no wonder why there are so many merchandises out there, thanks to the forms of Baby Yoda and stuff like that. It could be something more related to that, I'm presuming so anyway. So either way though, and on top of all that stuff though, is about the fact that I can assure you we've only just got about roughly 8 more days to go until The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is finally going to be releasing in the public. Although, keep in mind though, is about the fact that unfortunately though, similar to the forms of how it does in most other like, video game adaptations for movies and stuff like that. Unfortunately though, and same applies to the films of Kingdom Hearts 3 as well, unfortunately though, there's going to be a lot of leaks and all that stuff, which meaning we have to be careful of not to get too spoiled about the game, especially concerning about the fact that luckily I did try my best able to avoid any of those spoiler details and all that stuff, especially concerning about the fact that we just only got 8 more days to go until the game finally comes out on the Nintendo Switch. And gee, no wonder why the Wii U is probably not going to get the prequel or the sequel for that matter, because obviously the Wii U is dead now, and as a result of that kind of stuff though, well, despite I still find the Wii U is a pretty good system, but it's kind of weird honestly. But as a result, that's as far as I can usually just try to able to describe about the fact that, well, we just don't want to get too spoiled. That's the only thing we must able to actually keep this in mind. Especially, we must ignore, not only for YouTube, but also with the forms of Twitter itself as well. Because I hate the fact that, well, every time whenever when certain users manage to able to access those things very earlier, before the actual thing actually launches, and as a result, it contains a lot of spoiler stuff, and as a result, yeah, I just don't get it why about the fact that they attempt to do it nowadays, especially because it's actually getting a little bit too much for my liking, but yeah, you probably get the idea of how the fact that the actual leaks and rumors can sometimes don't feel a bit trustworthy, so yeah, but that's the same much, but I digress. Anywho, so I suppose another thing I should probably explain about this as well. I'm pretty sure that both Mighty and Ray have both already mentioned about this earlier, that recently we finally managed to complete Super Kirby Clash on the Nintendo Switch, and my god, it is a much longer experience than I thought it was. Although, I almost first thought about the fact that with Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, might expect to get a bit lengthy and longer, but I will admit though right away though, it will potentially gonna get a bit longer, especially because of all that gem pack full of content, and on top of that, well, again, I'll probably get into more details onto that once I go back onto Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, maybe at some point during the summer, between either June, July, or August, depending on the forms of how much busy work we've been doing for 3 of those projects recently for the Let's Plays departments are during the forms of towards at the end of the first half of the forms of 2023 for sure. Like, I know for one thing about the fact that I already mentioned about this before, that basically Metroid Fusion is going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays from now on, and Donkey Kong Country Returns is going to be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and finally, Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 March of the Minis will be the entire weekend. So, yeah, that might be the only reason for that is, so... But I digress. So, either way though, and also short things worth noting for is about the fact that when it comes to the forms of, let's just say, the upcoming 2 films, they're expected to be releasing at some point during the Halloween season, which are both Store X, alongside with the films of Five Nights at Freddy's. I can't even believe Five Nights at Freddy's movie is finally happening, and as a result, the release date for those 2 films are releasing at exactly the same time to go alongside with the films of getting closer to Halloween. And that's going to be releasing until the 27th of October. I mean, how crazy was that? Especially concerning about the fact that there was any rare moments where basically certain films came out during the exact same time, which as a result, it could possibly do the same thing until next year in 2024, when it comes to not only Avatar 3, but also with the films of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 as well. So, gee, every now and then it's gonna get crazy with all these film releases and all that stuff, which as a result, it's crazy, you know? But I digress. Oh yeah, and speaking of something related to Star Wars, basically we got ourselves the forms of Star Wars X Fortnite crossover, well, with the collaboration of any sort, and basically that's all else I can think about it. Despite I've not exactly played that much of Fortnite, I will must be honest here, well, I've definitely heard about the game, especially considering that with all that, a lot of popularity and all that stuff, but it's just that I'm not exactly, played on it that much. Or perhaps even maybe it's just me, but I'm guessing it's probably because I'm not exactly, you know, huge accustomed to the forms of certain things like this, you know? But I digress. So, I suppose I should probably explain about this, is that I believe this is the next boss in the game, which as a result, I was able to try to search for something, but it turns out I've actually lost track. So, here's the forms of the next boss in the game, which appears to be by the forms of Zai Bay. I think it's what it says anyway. Again, I apologize for that mispronunciation of that particular boss's name, so forgive me if I botch anything else up. So as a result though, basically all you have to do is about the fact that every time he's higher in mid-air, your chance able to actually shoot the regular missiles right back at the forms of this weak spot. And that's essentially how you can do it with this fight, even though sometimes it can be felt a bit tricky at times, because again, since they'll be on the fusion suit, that means the damage output is way too big, especially concerning that you lose a lot of health, especially if you're not paying attention to any of these kind of stuff. And when you get the hang of it though, it's actually not too bad, and eventually it gets a tad bit smaller, so meaning about the fact that it's actually, oh, you can use the charge beam if you wanted to, exponentially, but either way though, I just figure I was able to save up my missiles for the time being, so either way though, and I think something tells me once we've obtained a core, I get the strong sense of feeling that we might get ourselves our familiar ability ever since in, let's just say, in the previous Metroid games, that something tells me high jump might be in there, so, but exponentially though, we will be able to actually obtain that if we deal with the amount of damage to this guy, so either way, like I assure to you, hopefully by that time until likely on next Tuesday, I will definitely need to try to fix that stupid lag problem, so either way though, that always happens every time, I'm telling you guys, it always happens to us every time. But either way, thankfully at least that the capture card does not glitch up, unlike the yesterday's Donkey Kong Country Returns video, but still. So here's the forms of that core shell thingy right there, and once again it needs to be destroyed with the regular missiles, and we'll obtain a core, and from here we can now learn the high jump, as well as the jump ball as well. So meaning about the fact that we can now able to jump with the morph ball. So that'll be all good, especially concerning about the fact that we can now jump higher. Now we can reach higher places than the forms of how it does it for small jumps. So that'll be all good. And I think supposedly we're most able to come back for this until for later, especially because I think something tells me there might be some hidden items here and there, so, but that'll be for a later time though, especially concerning about the fact that exponentially speaking though, it's just, you know, we're still in the beginning portion of the game, so expecting the progression might be a bit slow at points, so, but I mean after all, we've now got ourselves, you know, some more health, thanks to the forms of that I've somehow recently found, another energy tank from a few minutes ago. So either way though, because again it encourages you a lot of exploration if you really want to hunt for a lot of stuff. So anyway, so that's that. So now it's going to move on to this particular room down here. So we can pretty much double check it to see what's going to be in here. So we'll use the multiple bomb. Oh, it just takes you to the exact same location. Well, that seems kind of pointless. I just want to make sure, because even then I just want to check on something, you know? Especially concerning if I ever miss something, then obviously I might as well be back for certain spots. So, either way, I think that's all there is to it when it comes to Sector 2 so far. Even though, you know, we've now got a high jump right now, so we can potentially try to able to proceed to higher areas and all that stuff. So, anywho, so, yeah, in terms of something else I could possibly mention about this is that, do you guys even remember that, oh gee, looks like the door has been, not functioning, so we have to figure out another way. So yeah, there are a lot of times where basically some of these, security doors have not been functioned, meaning about the fact that we have to go to a different way. So as a result, yeah, that might be something we might as well get accustomed to. So, and of course, that particular blocks up there, you see that symbols for about a few seconds ago? Well, remember the forms of the power bombs, right? From the likes of the, ever since in, let's just say, you know, in Super Metroid? Oh, jeez, what's up with this? Oh, God. What the heck is that thing? I think we've already seen that since when they first introduced to that familiar threat, which, kind of think about it, according to the forms of what the actual thing is trying to tell us something, this is where we come across into ourselves. Well, again, we'll explain more details about that if we come across into a navigation room again, because either way though, something still looks a bit fishy at this point. Although thankfully though, we can now able to actually proceed at this point, especially that now we can able to actually get back on track for certain situations, you know? So of course I might as well avoid those enemies for the time being, just in case for, you know, just trying to save up some more health and what have you. But either way though, everything else will be pretty much accounted for, so... Anyway, so you guys even remember about the fact I believe both Mighty and Ray, that have already mentioned about this ever since and yesterday as well. They both already mentioned about the fact that, yeah, the SpongeBob SquarePants TV series has now officially become 24 years old recently this year. So until specifically next year, it will be 25 years old. Like, you know what's even funny than 24? 25. Oh, sorry about that. I just keep on, like, seeing that meme every time when I see, like, someone's doing the live stream of something like this. Like, either way, though, that always gets to me with that particular meme, especially because it appears a lot, by the way. Every time whenever you, like, became, like, I don't know, 25 years old or something, that always gets to me with that, you know, that particular iconic meme. So, either way, though, that might be saying something. And something tells me we must able to actually go, I don't know, up here? Or, before I get into that though, I need to double check on certain areas first before I, search on anything else to be more specific, because again, it encourages you to do a lot of exploration, so... Anywho, so in terms of something else I can possibly explain, that in terms of SpongeBob related thing actually, there's going to be an upcoming film that's going to be releasing until 2025. Jeez, 2025. Well, not only 2025, but also a spin-off movie as well is also going to be approaching as well until next year. So we have ourselves the spin-off movie is going to be releasing next year, and another main SpongeBob movie until 2025. So as a result, I think the first one of the lineup though, even though despite the fact that it's been a very long while for mentioning about this, so in terms of the spin-off movie, it's going to call it SpongeBob SquarePants Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sunny Cheeks movie. So as a result though, I'm very curious to see what that film is going to be all about. Although something tells me though, I think I'll let someone else who able to actually mention more details onto that. And so, let's just say both Mighty and Ray will be coming back onto Donkey Kong Country Returns until tomorrow, and exponentially though, that might be brings us something to the table or something. So, anyway, and as far as the main SpongeBob movie is going to be coming until 2025, and it's going to call it SpongeBob SquarePants: A Search for SquarePants, centers around SpongeBob and the Flying Dutchman. Okay, that's quite intriguing, especially concerning the fact that after that massive disappointment of the Hash plot element based off of one of those episodes in, I would say, in season 4 or something. Like, have you seen My Snail or something like that when it comes to that particular SpongeBob special? So either way though, I was really hoping that the 4th movie does not get rehashed than he forms about it does on the 3rd film. So at least I'm hoping so anyway. So now, as far as I'm aware, with that particular spin-off movie, as I mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be coming on Netflix. I'm presuming so anyway, much like the forms of Sponge on the Run, back in the forms of in the pandemic year. So either way though, that might be something that it's nothing too new or nothing shocking for me anyway, because we pretty much know what to expect at that point. So I guess that probably explains it, huh? So, in terms of another thing I should probably explain about this too, is, relatively speaking, that... Excuse me, I do apologize for that particular Belgianness at this point, folks, which, as a result, yeah, I apologize for that. So, anywho, in terms of the something related to Star Wars thing, actually, out of nowhere, apparently Disney is making a series all about the films of Jetty Pandawans, I think is what it says anyway, and appears to be more likely like a preschool kind of series or something like that, called Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. I'm not exactly sure why it doesn't need to exist, but either way, it's just for the sake of clarity for the actual popularity for Star Wars or somewhat. But either way, I have no comment on that whatsoever, because relatively speaking, I just have nothing else to say with that particular or this series for that matter is about Sprite. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to be released though, because obviously I wasn't exactly looked upon that much preschool stuff, unlike let's just say, for instance, with the forms of Mexi 10, that, well, I just don't feel like talking about that channel, because obviously that channel is bad enough as it is, so, but that's just me. Oh yeah, in terms of something else is also coming during the forms of new films to become, basically it's about the fact that not only, as I said before, we're about to be getting not one, but two SpongeBob related movies, one spin-off and one main one. But also in addition to that, there's also going to be another selection of movies as well, which appears to be The Monkey King. Okay, that's interesting. And also we have ourselves the long-awaited, Blue Sky Studio original film. It was supposedly going to be developed by Blue Sky Studio, but it turns out it was shut down because it's now moved to, I would classify for saying Netflix or something. I have no exactly how do I explain about any of these things, but basically we have ourselves Me Mona. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, or Ni Mona. Yeah, I think that's what it says anyway. So either way though, thankfully we can now able to actually see what the entire film is going to be like. Well, it wasn't until later on this year I think, so according to the actual release time schedule or something. Well, I'm not exactly 100% sure. So anywho, and there's also going to be Leo, in this case in brackets, Adam Sandler. Okay, that's going to be interesting. And also, there's going to be In Your Dreams. Okay, that seems legitimate. And also we come across into Richard Curtis, That Christmas. Okay, that seems interesting. And also we have Ultraman and also Fairlina the Unicorn, I think is what the actual title of the film is going to be called. Well, again, I do apologize for that mispronunciation of that particular dialogue error as far as this is concerned. Oh, something tells me about the fact that we're about to be heading over to Sector 4 next. And I believe something tells me someone actually mentions there is actually a threat called SAX, or does it somehow becomes like a code name of Samus Aran X? Gee, what could possibly go wrong, huh? Although, relatively speaking though, we'll find out more details about that if we continue proceeding for this game, basically, so... But yeah, I'm just getting pretty annoyed about the forms of my computer keeps lagging all the time, which I know it seems kind of feels a bit standard thing to able to say things like that, but it's just that I just want to get this problem fixed. So, I mean, relatively speaking though, that it's actually going to get, well, clogged out eventually. So either way though, it appears to be that particular point where, well, I don't know about you. But anyways, in terms of the next film, which I was really excited about, and that's what appears to be by the forms of Chicken Run 2, Dawn of the Nugget, which, let me tell you, I am very excited with the forms of Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. And as you can tell, as you can see right there, for about a few seconds ago, the elevator has been not activated. I wonder what's causing it though. I suppose we'll find out more details about that if we continue proceeding for this. So either way, I think we'll head back into Sector 1 from now on, because either way though, since we've now able to actually activate the blue doors now, so meaning about the fact that we can now able to do some tiny bits here and there. So either way though, that might be some conception. So anyway, so yeah, I was really excited to able to actually know that I'm gratefully happy about this at the same time, because, you know, Chicken Run Dawn of the Nugget is finally going to be existence. And at the moment right now, they've only shown us the forms of not only the new image about the film, but also with tons of posters featuring the familiar characters from the first film, and on top of that, some new characters as well. Like, we might still come across into ourselves, well, despite the actual voice actors will be replaced, in comparison to the first film, sadly, but I'm sure it might take a bit while to get used to when it comes to the forms of new cast members replaced. So, as a result, we will come across into certain familiar characters like Ginger, as well as Rocky, Babs, alongside with the forms of Bunty, and Mac, and Follow, and Nick and Fetcher as well. So I'm very pleased able to know that these two iconic rats, you know, Nick and Fetcher, are coming back. Especially because, you know, ever since in the ending epilogue in the first film, they obviously chill out in this particular chicken century and all that stuff though, which obviously that makes seems the case. So, oh, and on top of that, when it comes to two new characters is going to be introduced as for right now, which are Molly and Frizzle. Interesting. Now, I'm aware about the fact that Molly, as far as Molly's appearance is concerned, she looks like a younger counterpart of Ginger, except with that particular accessory is a bit, changed, as far as I'm aware. And on top of all that stuff, though, when it comes to Fizzle, I'm pretty sure she's in pink or purple chicken? Kind of interesting color choice, kind of guy. No, you know, still very happy about that film has finally come to be in reality because, well, despite it's going to be releasing until on Netflix, although relatively speaking, as far as I'm aware, it's going to be releasing at some point on December this year, so at least I'm hoping so anyway, enjoying at some point when it gets to Christmas time. So that'll be a great treatment, especially concerning about the fact that, well, that'll be a fantastic ordeal thing where it comes to likely releasing the film during roughly the exact same time as Christmas time, just like the Films of Valor does it on certain other films as far as I'm aware. Well, mind you, I can't think about it on top of my head at the moment right now, because it looks like about the fact that it does seem very promising, all things considered. Well, I'm sure enough that, you know, Aardman is going to be once again working on it, especially concerning about the fact that I've not seen an Aardman film since Shaun the Sheep, the movie Farmageddon, ever since in 2019. Well, despite the fact I didn't say the actual film in day one on the cinema, just because, well, I don't know about you, but it seems that Shadow doesn't seem to like Shaun the Sheep as much as I do, especially concerning that he's already been ticked off about the fact that he goes like, why is there no dialogue? I mean, why'd they go like gibberish and all that strange noises and such? But then, it's just a way of how the fact that the actual series actually plays out to be, and as a result, I can totally see why Shadow just prefers like proper like acting for you know, certain films alike, but that's probably his taste anyway. I mean, you know what Shadow is, he just doesn't really care that much of these kind of stuff like this, but I mean, still, he can't help it for himself. Although I'm sure enough that Sonic will actually decide to calm him down a little bit, so either way though, that might be saying something, so... And, yeah, because let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day. If for those of you really excited about the films of Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget, are you excited for it? Because I am. Especially because it's been, you know, again, 23 years since the first film first came out in 2000. Like, gee, awfully a long time. Even though it's kind of similar vein as the Films of Valor does it, where everyone else is keep on speculating for hoping for the Simpsons movie sequel. Well, it still will happen, but I'm not exactly sure when is it going to be releasing, because it's hard to tell honestly. So either way, if it does happen, I'm excited for that too. But it's kind of a bit of a tough choice situation at the moment, because, you know, they're working on other projects, you know, upcoming films alike. Even though about the fact that, unfortunately though, until by the end of this month, unfortunately though, The Little Mermaid, the live-action adaptation, is going to be closer to its release, and still, I will say this right now, but I will say this again, I am not going to see that film, especially because, well, I've heard a lot of people complain about the Films of the Race swap, and on top of all that stuff though, with all that terrible CGI work, during the Films of the film itself, and it will just turn out to be a lot of negativity around. Well, I'm really hoping that the critics might also hate the actual film like that as well, so, you know, just like the Films of Valor does it from the likes of, you know, not only from the likes of the Aladdin live-action adaptation, although, don't get me wrong, I will able to appreciate about the fact that at least Will Smith did actually try his best for his impression about the films of Will Smith himself, the actual genie himself, but it's nowhere near as perfection as the films of Robin Williams, to me anyway. But I might be biased, I guess, even though it's just down to in my opinion, so yeah, I would have said that for the sake of time, so... Okay, so I believe something tells me we might come across into our next boss fight coming up, so either way, something tells me about the fact that, well, usually that in Sector 4's case, it's going to be a lot of emphasis on going underwater, so yeah, despite, as I said before, that we're getting pretty slow when it comes to, like, walking underwater, so... Might take a bit sometime though, especially hopefully we'll come across into that familiar suit upgrade that hopefully we're able to run faster on water, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and destroy these guys right here, so just in case we'll pick up some more health, because it seems like I keep on getting hit most of the time, which again, that, as I said before, the beginning portion of the game might give you a bit of struggle at points, because you will tend to get hit a lot for the majority of enemy encounters and all that stuff. But thankfully, we've got the energy tanks, so that should be all good. Especially concerning about the fact that, well, getting energy tanks is, well, sometimes it can be well hidden, whilst other times it can be easy to get. So, assuming, of course, about the fact that if you know exactly what the layout is going to be. So, anyway, so I guess that's that. So, let me go ahead and save the game again. So, just to ensure that we're able to save my progress here. And, yeah, I guess that's as far as I can usually try to explain about the forms of today's discussion. Although, apart from one thing in mind, that I can't believe by saying this, is that it's been 6 years since when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been first released on the Nintendo Switch. And let me tell you that we still had a great time with the actual game after 6 years, despite being a port to a Wii U game, but it does have a lot of quality of life improvements this time, especially I do appreciate about the forms of a lot of improvements here and there. Oh, and by the way, something's worth mentioning, you do realize about the fact that certain sections of the water has been electrocuted. So they're meaning about the fact that if you dare go into the underwater, while it's electricity and stuff like that, you will lose a lot of health. So don't you dare go in there. At least until whenever we get to solve this issue, that's the only reasonable thing about it. So anyways, let's grab ourselves the another missile tank expansion. So that should be all good, all things considered. Especially about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, I believe we're in the halfway point to able to reach for about 100 or so missile expansions or somewhat. And of course, since that we can now able to use the spring or the ball jump, that way we can now able to actually fit through those gaps. No problem. Well, assuming, of course, if my jumps does not screw up, but at the very least, though, we did somehow manage to came in here to double check, because something tells me with that exploding wall may have something to do with all that stuff. And if I recall correctly, we come across into a pump control unit, and I think something tells me we do need the... Oh, that particular familiar icon is here. And that something tells me we will come across into that familiar ability ever since in Super Metroid. So, it could be something more related to, I don't know, a speed booster? That could be one of the reasons for it. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and, you know, destroy some more enemies and get some more of our X-Parasites with the yellow color to get our health back before we take on the next boss. So, oh jeez, I totally forgot about those crumbling blocks. Although something tells me, yeah, there was that little climbing thing I can do. So, at the very least, I just do that. Alright, so we come across into this door. And there's another safe room right there. And I think with that crack in the wall, might have something to do with the progression. So, hopefully we're able to shoot that. And sure enough, we're able to progress. So... anyways, let's go through here, and, well, I think we're about to be pumped for this, because obviously, we'll move on to the next room, and, oh, okay, I guess there's nothing we can do in here, so I suppose we should probably move to, or go ahead and move on to the next room, so, there's nothing we need to worry about this for the sake of time, I suppose. Well, apart from that one thing in mind, there's another eye door right there that we can able to take on, so... and as always, use the actual regular missiles to able to deal the damage on him, so either way though, hopefully once we get ourselves the later upgrade, then we can probably deal with this thing very much quicker, so... even though sometimes it takes a bit of a while to able to take one of those things down. Alright, so let's see what we got in here. Although as far as I'm aware, it takes place in the last now. Oh, jeez. Okay. I was not expecting with that particular weird creature right there. But, I believe it does have its name, by the way, and it says, well, at least as far as I'm aware, the boss's name was, Surius. I think that's what it says anyway. Now, I will admit though, right away, I really love this particular boss theme music, because it sounds so catchy. Especially concerning about the fact that, again, I really love how the fact that this game's sound-wise is actually a bit top-notch in this game, especially because of all that sound department, because it sounds a lot more like crunchy-like. But either way though, that's to be expected at one point. But again, I'll point things out whenever we get to the later portions of this playthrough, but either way though, so basically all you have to do is basically, I think you should probably the best strategy for this is that when you get near to its head, basically use the charge beam in the process, and then that way you can deal the amount of damage to it, and it gets a bit ridiculously fast. So, if he's gonna go right at you, then it's your chance to able to shoot the charge beam right back at him. I was expecting to try to use the missiles, but I think I should probably save up those missiles eventually at some point. So, oh jeez, what's on that screen? And of course we come across the exact same egg thingy right here, or the shell thingy right there for its core, and something tells me we will come across into that familiar ability from Super Metroid for sure. Oh jeez, I'm losing a lot of health right there. But hey, on the upside, we got all of our health back, and we got ourselves a speed booster. And basically, pretty much like the Falls of it does in Super Metroid, where basically if you run on a straight line for a long period of time, basically you activate a supersonic speed. And that way you can able to bust out these blocks. When you see those little like speed booster blocks, like for instance right here, basically that's the only method you can able to utilize the speed booster from. So either way, let me go ahead and get rid of these little like walls and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything else breakable on that wall, so I think we should probably go ahead and dash through here, and we'll drop down until we're able to actually access to the pump control unit. So either way, hopefully we're able to get the benefit for the doubt when it comes to for like certain progressions as far as I'm aware. And unfortunately though, I forgot to charge up my phone today, so either way though, hopefully I'll try to charge that up at some point during the phones have been later on today, before I get a chance to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Oh no! Oh, this is bad. Ah, jeez, we got electrocuted from that particular... I blame on that particular enemy placement right there, because it always gets in my way. So, hopefully though, I should probably deal with him no problem. Ah, jeez, I was not expecting with that particular hasty jump I just pulled off. But anyway, I did manage to able to pull this off anyway, so I think I should probably just go ahead and continue things on here. Alright, so if I was assuming, we need to go here. And no, this is the wrong room. I keep thinking about the forms of one of those optional items as far as I'm aware. But either way, we've already gone through here, I think, So relatively speaking, we need to go down here, and hopefully we'll come across into that familiar... Oh jeez, ah, darn it, I was a bit hasty at that point. Oh jeez, that's not good news. I think I've somehow almost get my memories mixed up, so either way though, it takes a bit of time to able to memorize any locations, so there we go. That way I can now able to climb on here, and we can now able to actually just go ahead and... Oh, destroy you. No! Ah, really? Okay. That enemy's gonna able to throw me off at points. And hopefully I'm also able to try to find another energy tank at some point, so there has to be something. Alright, now we've gone through that, and we're able to meet our way to the pump control unit as soon as we get to the next room. And exponentially, here we are, and speed boost all the way over there, and we've made it to this particular control unit. So now the water level has been lowered, so that should be all good. And is it just me, or do I hear something related to F-Zero jingle in the background? Which, I will say, it sounds kind of familiar, doesn't it? So anyways, with that being said though, I'm afraid to tell you we got the ending stuff at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Metroid Fusion, and that is that we're going to be continuing exploring through Sector 4, and that's about it basically. So I'll see you guys until on Tuesday. Later fellas.